or Zach?
That is I think that's what Gambit's asking themselves. They're not even sure. I mean, we saw the bans come in very quickly over this first 2 games. They do take it away. So we will have Twisted Fate left open for Evil Genuises, and it looks like they want to pick that up.
Yeah, and that Fizz was banned out, which again, I said that before, like, if you're going to leave the TF in there, you're going to leave the Fizz in there as well.
I think Froggen's more deadly on Fizz than he is on Twisted Fate.
And that's the thing, if they'd have kind of called their bluff on pick Fizz first, they'd be like, well, I can't go Twisted Fate now, can I? Just counted myself with that one. But obviously it leaves the Aatrox open, it leaves the Shen open for them here. And Gambit may secure 2, right now, very strong picks.
And Darren, I mean, like we said before, his first game that he played where he didn't die was on a Shen. Obviously, we really didn't see much of that in the first game, but Shen, just a strong champion. And also, you kind of match the global presence that Twisted Fate can put out. So if he ults somewhere on the map, follow that up with a Shen ult to counter that, and it pretty much makes it like a 3-on-3 fight when it previously was a 2-on-2.
So Twisted Fate has obviously featured a lot in bans and picks. Like, he's up there in the 90% range in terms of the amount of games that he's been banned and picked. His win ratio is nowhere near the 90% range, though.
Yeah, I remember it actually dropped really heavily. After the first, I think it was 4 weeks coming into the summer split, it was banned out every game.
Yeah.
And then it was starting to let through, and people forgot how to play him necessarily. Because of that, they were losing game after game after game, and only, I think, one of the few teams that still was able to play Twisted Fate really well is Lemon Dogs and I think Gambit. And Froggen, I mean, he's an amazing player, so I'm not going to doubt that he's been working on his Twisted Fate, but it's going to show here. I mean, he's going to have to come up big for his team.
Another thing that I'm interested in is we are going to see Jarvan locked down for Snoopy. And I'm guessing this Thresh may stay as well for Crepo. What is Wicked going to bring to the table? What is Wicked going to play? Because the Zac is out of there. The Aatrox is gone. The Shen is gone.
He's played Yorick.
Renekton, Malphite are the two that obviously then come into mind as to what Wicked can actually play this kind of crunch situation.
Maybe Rumble.
A Rumble
yeah,
as well.
I'm thinking back to the whole Jarvan Rumble ultimate combo that works really well with the Cataclysm coming down, and he's never had a bad Rumble. I mean, that was pretty much his 3, was that Rumble, Shen, and Malphite, and why not pick it up here? I mean, you can do really well in lane, you can be so strong in the team fights, and with EG right now, they kind of working towards that.
Well, we have seen the Karthus locked in here for Alex Hitch. 3 out of 3 is going to go with that Karthus, and mixed results obviously that he's had with that one, but we're hoping that this one is a positive for them, as Zyra was taken away here as well for Voidal. So, funnily enough, we talked about, you know, leaving the mid laners till last, the ability to counter. They actually come in very early because of that first pick, Twisted Fate.
Kennen, how did we forget about Kennen?
And Kennen.
Oh, wow. I mean, he had so many good games on that against Alternate in the 2 that they won. I completely forgot about that champion, but...
Yeah, now I feel silly because, you know, we look towards the Malphite, which, by the way, against Alternate was not very strong for them. The Kennen, though, he played in both games that they won in there, so... This is most likely going to be that Kennen coming out. Caitlyn for Yellow Peak, well, that's no surprise whatsoever. As we've already talked about in the earlier games, he's playing loads of Caitlyn and doing really well on it right now. On the other side, that Zyra coming out there, will we see that Ashe coming in for Genja as well?
That's what I want to know. I think it's going to be Ashe or Twitch. As Varus, like I said before, wasn't that strong, but Varus actually might work out really well just because of the control with the Zyra ultimate, but the Ashe Initiate, you can never underestimate that, and you don't want EG engaging upon you with the whole Jarvan Cataclysm. Mix that in with Kennen's ultimate, and not even the box coming out of Crepo. Like, that means Yellow Pete's going to be very safe, that means Froggen's going to be very safe. We're going to be able to put out so much damage against Gambit, and if Alex's flash isn't up, you zone him from the fight completely.
Well, it seems like Varus or Ashe is not quite on the mark for this one. It's going to be Misfortune locked in for Genja. Again, another champion which he's very familiar with, start to really bring her back a little bit more over the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, and I remember he played it so much in the spring split. He stopped playing it in summer, but when he finally did pick it up, he had some fantastic games on her. So it's definitely it's not a bad move on his part, and I guarantee he's feeling very confident. And Misfortune, actually, yeah, it was in the Super Week in Week 9. They came back from the boot camp. We saw his Misfortune, where we used to previously see it farming off by herself, you know, not really participating in the team fights, to finally push up the lane, go to the team right away, and force these fights. So maybe we're going to see that come into play. And honestly, I wouldn't want to be either one of these teams with what's at stake still.
No, it's times like this where you're glad for, you know, being able to watch this game without that pressure, because I don't want to know what they're feeling right now. All, as we said, a year's work gone into getting towards those Worlds Finals. They are the end goal every single season, and for one of these teams, both of which were at Worlds last year, EG obviously finishing third at CLG EU back then, one of them is not going to be there. That's a huge deal.
It really is, and it kind of shows like the new blood that's come into Europe. Lemon Dog surprising pretty much everyone, even us, at how dominating they were throughout the entire split. Well, minus the first couple of weeks, but I mean, yeah, if these old guard teams want to stay in here and stay the best, they have to keep working on everything. They can't let their skills slide at all. And right now, we're going to find our final team going into Worlds from Europe.
Yeah, all down to this one last game. I expect a pretty passive start to things just because of that, just because of everything that's on the line, that we've seen 2 games that have not been close, if we're honest. A very stompy game for EG in game number 1, the same for Gambit then in game number 2. Hopefully that balances itself out, which means game 3 is going to be awesome.
I'm definitely hoping so. I know everyone at home is hoping for the same thing. I mean, stomps, they're kind of fun to watch, but you want to see that back and forth action, one team taking advantage, other team taking it back. But Joe, we're finally moving in.
Here we go then. Game number 3, Evil Genuises versus Gambit. This game to decide who goes to LA, who watches it from home, and which team that's going to be is anyone's guess, I think, right now. After 2 very one-sided games, we come into this one to decide who is going. The fans definitely behind EG. Wait, are they seeing Gambit?
I think so.
Oh no, it's EG.
Oh, okay.
How could I be fooled by that one? This crowd has been behind EG the whole week. We shouldn't. We can't, beat around the bush on that one. We have a lot of Evil Genuises fans in the house, and well, if you guys here in the crowd are loud enough, it certainly plays a big part onto the whole momentum thing and the whole adrenaline factor, I think we can say, on stage here. Level 1, I would be very, very, very surprised to see any kind of action.
Yeah, I think you're definitely right on that one. You see just both teams lining up across middle. They don't want to lose the game off level 1. You don't want to look back and realize all your hard work throughout that year was gone off of just one fight, just off one misplay in the beginning of the game. And it looks like we will see lane swaps come in for Evil Genuises. They're sending Yellow Pete and Krepo top lane, while Genja and Boyle are going to be bottom here against Wicked. And I think that's kind of Gambit expecting that and wanting to shut down Wicked, who's just done phenomenally well on this Kennen over these past couple of days.
Yeah, it really has. And again, apologies to Wicked really for forgetting about his Kennen, because we were thinking the Malphite or Renekton routes, but his Kennen was sublime against Alternate. And my bad for missing that one out there, because he has been great so far with that champion. We'll see what he can bring to the table here today in our final match against Gambit. But these 2v1 lanes, while we're on that topic of the Kennen, who's going to have the better time of these?
Well, Wicked obviously has the range. He has the ability to farm away from the turret. He also last hits under turret really well with that Doran's Blade, so he's going to be able to farm quite well. But Darren, he should have quite a huge amount of sustain with that Doran's shield, with his Q, which heals him if he hits that target. But as you see right now, because of the range difference that Yellow Pete has versus the range difference that Genja has, it's kind of giving away favor of EG.
So, let's see how that one all develops in there. Yellow Pete got off to a strong start in terms of the farm. Looking down some of these starting items here, Froggen actually going for the Boots 3 pot start here on that Twisted Fate. Yeah,
he wants to be very aggressive against Alex. He wants to be able to hit those gold cards, and Alex has to be very careful. He's going to have to invest quite a bit into Wall of Pain multiple times if he doesn't want to be ganked. And remember, Snoopy, he made so many phenomenal ganks versus Alternate with this Jarvan. He needs to make plays like that happen yet again, and he's already sitting up towards the bottom.
Let's see if he can get into this one, sneaking in towards that brush at leaving Kennen Jarvan versus Misfortune and Zyra, and, well, in the end, shows himself there with the flag toss coming out, and that should mean that Gambit don't have any troubles down on this bottom lane. But look at that already, a 10 CS lead coming out for Yellow Pete. That's strong early on, and it is, of course, very early, so that can really change around very quickly. It's Diamond coming down towards that bottom lane. Half health, but because of the blood well, can be a little bit more aggressive with that Aatrox at lower health.
Not to mention the damage he puts out just early on in the game. And one thing EG did very smart is the fact that they did pull that lane swap in. And one thing that makes Shen so strong in these 1v2s is the fact that he can taunt you under tower, make you take a couple of hits, and you're going to have to flash away to get away from it. And when that's down, he does the same thing over again and can pick up kills. Not to mention, he's very hard to gank in a 3v1 with that taunt available. And that's why Stupi's really committing his time down towards his bottom lane.
Froggen in this mid, having a bit of free time there as Carthus left out on that lane. Down in the bottom, Diamond has actually come through the brush onto the bottom side, and pretty sure he spotted him there as Crepo and Darian kind of face off on that top side of the map as well. But exactly as we thought here, a game which could probably see a very delayed first blood. I suppose could also get very explosive very quickly from on the same token from that one, when one team really sees an opportunity and puts everything in there to seize it.
And I really want to know, if one team does get a big lead, are they going to do it tutorial style, taking down all those inhibitors, or are they going to be very aggressive and try to go for some big plays? And obviously with high risk comes high reward, and we're going to see as the game obviously does develop on. But, you know, Froggen on this Twisted Fate, when he hits at level 6, as well as Alex in level 6, that's where we're going to start to see how this game's going to go. Are they going to interact with these other lanes? Are they going to try to pull up ganks? And I think Froggen might try to gank bottom as his first real chance.
Well, he's actually headed back home right now. Almost 40 CS under his belt, and will come back into the lane with 2 Doran's rings and an Anctome. So it's a decent amount of power early on for Froggen's Twisted Fate.
Yeah, it looks like he's trying to rush that Sheen for some extra auto attack damage. And Diamond doing what he did earlier on, trying to counter jungle Stupi as much as possible, but Stupi's heading up towards him. They actually could potentially close out on him. The Dark Flight's going to get away, and Pete and Crepo doing a great job in this top lane, farming up quite a bit. And I believe they actually have some decent damage down onto that turret.
Yeah, really nicely mobile, the Aatrox, to get away from any possible danger. Alex actually headed home here as well. Didn't quite hit level 6 before he went back. Froggen, though, has now got level 6. Without Alex in the lane, this could actually be dangerous.
I think with these sword boots that Alex just picked up, he's looking to go for some ganks on the side, or not him ganking, but Diamond coming around into these lanes and ganking. But we do see Froggen already head up towards his top side. But remember what I said earlier, Shen is really hard to dive 3v1. If anything, I think he's just come up here to take this turret down. And
EG have got some experience diving to Shen in the 3v1 scenario, but it looks like they are going to go for it. Froggen there, got to get the stun up. He's actually tanking the turret there as he switches up to the minions. They're doing this one nicely. Darian down to below half HP, but they're taking too much damage. Here comes a Requiem. Is it going to be enough? Crepo going very low. Diamond actually going to go back from this one as he jumps in. Flay back, but first blood goes to Diamond. And again, a 3-man dive for EG, going pear-shaped and giving up first blood.
I'm trying to think, how many times has that happened for them? Unfortunately, and Alex, I mean, he had the money to go for the Catalyst, and I said a little bit earlier, with those sword boots, he wants to be able to ult into these side lanes with that penetration. Right now, Diamond able to make his way up towards that top side to turn that around, where Darian, he tanked them for so long under that turret, able to survive, and even still has his flash available if he wanted to use it. So great job again, a fantastic start.
Yeah, and that's the start that Diamond has been looking for these, it seems like, in a lot of games recently. You know, he's talked about him being a little bit more quieter recently, not quite being the beast that we all remember Diamond for, but you know, this time around, getting off to that good start is certainly going to help his play out a lot. So, he's got boots and that Doran's blade in there. Other items coming down, Shen adding that Giant's belt in there. Double Doran's blade as well for Wicked's Kennen.
And we do have lane swaps coming back in yet again, as we're going to see Yellow Pink Crepo head down towards bottom to go against Genja and Voidal. And with that not the Sunfire Cape, the Giant's belt that Diamond was able to pick up, that just makes it so hard for him to die in this lane. And Wicked, he invested into those double Doran's blade to really provide some harass and make it a lot easier to last hit, but I'm not really sure he has the damage yet at all to really combo Darian down. So, if anything, I think Ichi's just going to leave him alone in this top lane.
And there are the stats for Wicked as well. A lot of assists on those 2 wins versus Alternate. 19 assists with his 6 kills and 6 deaths coming in. And that's the kind of statistics that he's looking to reproduce here against Gambit.
Froggen hasn't used his ultimate just yet, but he does have that Sheen now. And we've always seen Twisted Fates, as we do see a hook land on a Voidal here, but I don't know if they're going to commit to it as no one else is near, but we've seen Twisted Fates, you know. If they can be aggressive early on, if they can get rolling, if they can get like a couple or a kill or 2 early, then they can really become a nuisance. But the thing is with Froggen, he doesn't do that too much from what I remember on him playing Twisted Fate. He likes to play the late game on him, where he just split pushes you all day, and he has a Lich Bane coming, so you might see that come into play.
Well, with that Sheen in there, there is an opportunity for him to get in there. It's very, very strong at this point already. Question is, where do the opportunities really arise from? Gambit obviously going to be playing a little bit more defensive naturally just because of that Twisted Fate in there and the possibility that he can offer up. This bottom lane being fairly quiet, and as I say that, the hook landing in towards Voidal. Snoopy coming around, and Voidal actually flashing away completely from that one. Diamond was there to back things up, but that could have turned into a messy 3-on-3.
I'm really surprised Voidal flashed. Yeah, he obviously had to flash to get away, but he was trying to bait them in. Diamond knew that Snoopy was bottom because of that ward in that second bush, and they wanted to be able to turn that around, but unfortunately for them, they were able to escape. Still, just only one kill coming in. Pretty much 500 gold difference between these two teams 10 minutes in.
So pressure now on towards this bottom turret. Wards going down in there. When Snoopy around, they know that going under the tower here could be very dangerous as Genja actually going to get hooked. They're going to go for the fight. Here's a Requiem comes down. Stranglethorn's going to knock them up, and the bullet time goes through. That's two kills for nothing down in that bottom lane. We did see Shen die on the top side, and well, they picked up the kill there as well. I mean, that was just fantastic for Gambit.
Yeah, you cannot forget about these ultimates, these global ultimates that they have. Alex is just sitting in middle lane, picking up these assists left and right, as we're going to see the replay come in, and Diamond just jumping straight into the back line with that Shen ultimate on top of him. And the thing was, look at Snoopy and Crepo. Because they got knocked up by Voidal, they could not drop the Cataclysm. Snoopy died, and it kept Froggen in there, so he was able to be picked up, and just what a picture-perfect dive out of Gambit right there.
That went pretty much as wrong as it could have gone right there in that one. There's 4 for 1 for Gambit, and look where they were spread over as well.
And the thing is, it's not usually Gambit in this game so far that's really made the aggression. It's EG that's been kind of going for the aggression, at least with the first blood, and Gambit taking complete advantage of that. And with what they've been able to build up, I mean, they have assists across the board on everyone. They have kills across the board except onto Alex, who's been able to get those 4 assists, and able to sit middle and just keep farming as much as possible. And if EG want to be able to have hopes of taking this win, taking a chance at going into World Final, or into the Worlds, they need to pull something back here very soon.
Well, pressure coming down into that bottom lane by EG. Alex Hitchens has come back towards mid to alleviate any push on that side of things. Got his Catalyst now, the Sorcerer Shoes from earlier on, and that tier already stacking up. On the other side, Lichbane coming close to completion here for Froggen. This where it becomes very dangerous, and also, no real surprise, Wicked headed up towards that Sonya's Hourglass as early as he possibly can. Already got the Seeker's Arm Guard in.
But even considering that he wasn't a 1v2, he's still doing relatively well. He's sitting at 65 CS as Froggen cut towards his top side, and they already have that turret down. They want to kind of gank Darien when he overextends, when he overcommits, and they're not really able to just yet, as Snoopy's still sticking around bottom, but I believe he was spotted by that plant, so he's going to have to be back, or he's going to have to back out, and considering how well he did against Alternate, he's been shut down so well by Gambit this game.
Certainly has, and probably needs to step things up, honestly. This is the kind of game where everyone needs to hit a certain level. So far it's Gambit with that brilliantly executed push and dive on that bottom turret that come out front 4-1 winners in kills. They're almost 2,000 gold ahead as well, which, considering it's been a slow start, a slow 12 minutes here at the start of this one, that is a big amount of gold.
And the thing is, they got kills bottom, as we just saw earlier on, and they took Dragon right after that. So they get kills, they take objectives, and that's what makes a good team really great, your ability to do that. And Froggen still has yet to ultimate during this game. Looks like he might be heading down bottom though, because he's kind of prepared for it, he's kind of moving towards it. And with Snoopy down there, that could be exactly what they need to really turn this game around.
Yeah, Snoopy just waiting off in the wings. Wondering if he can actually get something going. There we go, Lantern Gang coming down. The flash came out as well there from Crepo. They're going out towards Genja. Is he going to be able to escape this one? Froggen's coming down. Yellow P picks up the 1 kill. Voidal now, he's going to fall as well. It's a double kill for Yellow P.
And that is exactly what they needed to get back in this. Yellow P getting the 2 kills onto him, particularly as we've seen him be able to carry games earlier on in these playoffs with that Caitlyn alone. That's fantastic play to them. We're going to catch a little bit of replay of that. And Crepo, that flash play, wow, out of him was phenomenal. We just see a fight breaking out.
Chasing him down. Barrier comes out there. Darien not done. He's going to flash into this one. Puts the Ignite down. They might get 2. The slow comes down onto Crepo. Exhaust under the turret. Diamond's trying to get onto him, but the box has completely got him. There we are going to see that blood well being popped. Diamond will be able to walk away from that one. Gambit turn around another 2 kills.
So 2 for 2 trade there in the end, and Wicked was able to get a lot of damage onto that top turret, however. Was able to kind of counter that as best as he could, but Darien, again, ultimate down, kills picked up. And if he keeps on that pace, he's going to become so tanky that no one can deal with him on an EG, and he's going to have to keep, or he'll be able to split push, which he didn't get to do in that first game.
So EG now gathering up middle. Lichbane is done for Froggen, and that means turrets don't last very long, or certainly won't when he actually gets the opportunity to put down some damage onto them. Alex and Boyle coming towards this mid lane to try and cover that one. You can see chunks of damage coming out. Wicked, not too bad himself with that double Doran's Blade in there. Obviously his auto attacks can be doing a decent amount of damage as well. So those turrets certainly not safe here for Gambit, but that 6-3 kill lead that they have currently puts them 2,500 gold up.
And right now, I really don't expect too many fights to break out. I'm really looking to this next Dragon to be the big contest for both these teams, where you pick up a couple of kills, as we saw Gambit do earlier on, you can get a nice, huge gold lead. And it looks like, with that pink ward on Snoopy, that's exactly what they're planning to do. If maybe they want to push this turret down, they go for a Dragon relatively soon right after that.
So this turret, bullet time coming across that, delay EG a little bit there, as we are going to see a battle in middle. Boydle burning here from the Ignite, is it enough? No, not quite. But it's enough to secure the turret down that bottom lane. Bullet time coming out from Genja wasn't enough. Snoopy just tanked it straight up.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't do too much damage yet. He went for that triple Doran's Blade yet again. It's like patented triple Doran's Blade build. Dragon will be up in about a minute though, and Froggen, he's been holding down this top side, but because of that, Gambit's like, all right, we'll get your middle turret.
And they're going to take it. Nothing that Ken and Wicked can do about that one. A nice bit of counterplay there coming out from Gambit. That will level us up then on the turrets. And different turrets that have gone down as well. Both outer bottom turrets down. The mid outer there for EG is down, and the top outer turret from Gambit fell earlier on to Wicked. Plus that inner turret took a lot of damage as well during that last fight.
And that might be exactly why Froggen's top lane, or at least sticking towards that side. Maybe he wants to apply that pressure, get those turrets down while they can. And I wouldn't be surprised if EG now concede the Dragon, but apply pressure while Froggen does split push that top lane. But Darien, he doesn't have his ultimate up just yet. He can't really get down into this Dragon fight, so they, in the end, could potentially have a 5-on-4 if Froggen does come.
Yeah, literally nobody there at this point for EG. And Gambit going to kick that one off. They've got no vision of it either. There is a ping going now, so they know that Dragon is actually there. As Snoopy slide through, Alex just sidestepped it there. Didn't get knocked up. And the Dragon is going to go over to Gambit Gaming. That's going to increase their lead significantly.
And we have to keep in mind, he's looking for a fight here. Oh, this would be very bad. Well, they're able to escape. But because they took that Dragon very early, after that kill bottom, EG didn't really have the 100% for sure time on it. Obviously, they knew it was going to be done. And because of that, Gambit was able to take advantage of it, able to pick it up for free, and extend their gold lead to now 3,500.
3.5k. Not masses, but still a gold lead nonetheless. Leaves Gambit in prime position, as we are going to see Darien here, possibly in a little bit of trouble. Going to get the taunt down on towards Wicked. He's pretty tanky by now because of that 2 kills, 3 deaths, 3 assists that he's got. No deaths up until now. But Gambit are going to be making a play on this inner turret in the mid lane. And they're going to get a big chunk of damage in there as a hook.
They can take it.
Going to hit a minion. They can take it.
Yellow Pete's not in position to stop this. Wicked's coming down still from that top side, and Gambit, they can take this and force a fight right off the back of it if they want.
Well, very, very close there, but being defended nonetheless. So EG actually going to keep that alive. You can see that they start to push out that mid lane a little bit, try and force those minions further back up the lane. They don't want Gambit to be able to just waltz on in there and finish off that turret. Other items coming out now as well. Needlessly large rod picked up by Froggen. So that's added to his power. That Rod of Ages on the other side for Alex Itch's Karthus is now finished.
And you saw right there in that top lane just previously that Wicked and Darien, the dual potential out of both of them, where Darien completely shuts them down with that tankiness he has. We do see Snoopy sticking towards the side, but they don't really have the damage to kill him. And Froggen, he's hit him towards the top as well. But they're kind of trying to split them up. They're trying to go for a middle turret here.
Oh, hook coming through there from Crepo. Boydle able to just step back from it, get out of range, and avoid the danger from that one. So it's still, despite the 9 kills that we've had up to now, which is actually more than I was expecting, to be honest, at this point of the game, we've gone to a bit more of a passive stage again, but we know how those kind of games can turn extremely explosive very quickly. Now, Diamond and Gambit are all grouped up in this mid lane. There are 4 of them there. Shen, of course, doesn't really need to be there. He could just join in later on with that Stan United. And with that middle turret so low, that's obviously a very big lure for Gambit right now. That's a juicy target for them.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier about the strength of taking down that middle turret. You see the pressure it's been able to apply to EG right now because with Gambit just grouped up middle, they force all of EG to sit middle and defend against it with the turret already very low, and that allows Darien to split push right now. He's already doing some damage onto that top turret. He's getting even tankier, even more farm, and EG, I mean, with Yellow Pete trying to split push every once in a while just to try to catch up, he's not really able to pick up as many items as he'd like to.
So Frogner just pushed him away from that one, but at the end of the day, it's the Shen. He's going to be able to join straight into that fight. Obviously, Twisted Fate has to be really the one that stops it in this composition. There's no one with a teleport or anything for Evil Genuises here, so I know that Twisted Fate and his Destiny Ultimate are really all they've got to stop that one happening, as the red buff was just taken away there by Diamond. So nice little invade coming out of Gambit, and that's what happens to you slowly when you start to lose those mid turrets, that your jungle becomes a lot more vulnerable then.
Oh, Snoopy might get caught here. It does get slowed.
Yeah, slowed down, but he'll be able to slide away. He's Jarvan, no problem.
Yeah, and I mean, we've always talked about Gambit being very aggressive, doing a lot of counter jungling. They're showing their strength right now. They have that middle turret down, and they're trying to take away everything possible. They're taking away the red, they're taking away as many camps, and they're still trying to, I say, catch up in their top lane and their AD carry in terms of CS, but with all these assistant kills under their belts, they've been able to surpass them here. Alex, with that blue, they have great siege potential, great wave clear.
So we talk about Shen and, you know, his split push potential, but despite the fact that Darien has spent so much time up there, he's actually behind in CS, and if you look at that lane, just from the minimap, you see that he's, at this point, not being that effective in what he's trying to do.
Well, look what you have on EG's side. I mean, you have Wicked, who can wave clear extremely quickly. Froggen can do the same. Because of that, they can shove a lane a lot quicker than he can shove back, and Wicked get a little bit low right there. He does have his Zona's Hourglass done, as well as Froggen, so we could see an engage coming in for them, where they have that ability to be untargetable, but Froggen right now, he's pushing that bottom lane. He wants to get some damage onto that bottom turret.
Yeah, but the fact is, if they manage to take the cannon out of the game and that incredible damage that comes out of his ultimate, surely that's a win-win situation for them. Froggen is pushing down onto that bottom inner turret. Middle inner turret has already gone down. We can see the hook landing there on towards Gambit, but that Blood Dweller not really the target that EG are looking for. And Gambit actually sticking around for this one. They've sent Shen down to that bottom lane to counteract Froggen. And the thing is, at this position of the map right now, if Gambit were to fight, it will be a 5v4 because of the fact that that Twisted Fate is not going to be able to get over there. And
Froggen, he has to be very aware of that. Gambit, I mean, they could get engaged upon, but you don't, just like I said, you don't want to fight when you know it's going to be a 4-on-5 for you. It's not going to be an advantageous fight, and they're able to push Gambit away, as Gambit going to take away the blue, so they're already able to take away the red previously. Now they're taking away the blue, so now Froggen won't even have the ability to pick that one up. Oh, actually, they do back away because the fight is kind of breaking out here.
Yeah, fight breaking out. We are going to see Destiny being activated here. Snoopy going to jump on towards Alex with that Cataclysm. Here comes Wicked from the side, but he's not doing anything with it. We are going to see the Requiem coming down. A lot of damage coming in. Snoopy somehow manages to survive that one. Wicked actually Zonya through all the damage. And that will actually end with a 1-for-0 for EG.
Well, that's exactly what they need to do to kind of catch back up. Darien didn't even bother ulting on the Voidal either to save his life, which I think he would have been able to, but now EG should be able to get a free turret off of this, and they're closing that goal difference very, very well.
Yep, that brings us back to 3-3 in towers. Dragon is available, and this is an Evil Genuises Dragon.
We've got the first of the game as
Darien off to the side, but honestly, not got a smite or anything to really go for that one, and that will be the pickup. So, nice one again. That brings the goal back now to 2,000.
Now it's a matter of I think about a minute right there too with that gold swing that ended up happening. But we do see a lot of items still come in. I mean, Diamond, he isn't really building any damage besides that Doran's Blade and the Razor, but he has that Spirit Massage. So he's going to have the extra cooldown reduction, the extra healing off of his W. And Darien, he's getting close to finishing his as well. He's sitting on 1,400 gold right now to back with, and when he gets that item, his cooldown reduction is going to be so low that he's going to have his ultimate up pretty much every single team fight.
And also, have that extra magic resist in there, which obviously against a double AP team is something that you are going to be needing. Service Embrace is also done for Alex Itch, who's up at almost 270 CS after 24 minutes this one. Not quite the level of the last game, but still pretty damn close, and phenomenal farming as you would come to expect from him. Froggen doing a similarly impressive job over the other side. Between the two AD carries, Bloodthirst's Last Whisper is done for Yellow Peaks. Caitlyn along with the Home Guard Berserkers, and on the other side,
we might see a fight break out.
Voidal's in trouble here. Wow, he's dead. That was really quickly done there as we got not quite landing on towards Diamond, and those kind of catches when this game's this close are so bad.
I think we talked about pressure so many times for this game, for this whole series, but we forgot to mention Voidal. Came into the team pretty much midway through. He's never been in the situation of having the opportunity to go to these World Finals, and he's been kind of caught out these last two little mini fights that we've seen, and right now we do see Ichi going in.
Yeah, they've got Alex Itch here. He's going to get stunned up, finished off by Wicked, and absolutely destroyed. He's got Requiem, but what's he going to do with it? Everyone full HP pretty much from that one. He's going to be finished off, and he's got a 40-second spawn timer at this point in the game. Are EG going to try and make a play towards Baron? No, they're not. They're going to go in towards Darian, who will shadow dash away. But there is a Cataclysm coming down. Here comes Froggen as well. Using the Destiny to get in, but the bullet time ripping back onto them. And they have to back away. Well done by Gambit to force them back from that.
And EG, they wanted to pick up more kills. It seems to me they wanted to be a little greedy, because remember, that top lane second tier 2 is very low. They could have taken that for free, but they wanted to get a little more, maybe a little bit greedy, but still, they're going to take those 2 kills that they were able to pick up without any deaths, go home happy, buy up a couple more items, as we do see that Last Whisper Bloodthirster combo come in for Yellow Peak. And we do see Wicked actually going for an Abyssal Scepter, so he's going to amplify Froggen's damage on top of his own.
And he is 3-0-0 right now. Wicked, again, seemingly continuing that trend that he started against Alternate in the quarter-final games where, well, both games that they won, he played that Kennen and played it amazingly well as well. A multitude of assists by the endless level on kills and deaths as well. So down in this bottom side thing, and I'm quite surprised that EG have just not finished off this top turret, I have to say. Because that's a nice little chunk of gold to get things going right now, but at the same time, it's a nice chunk of gold later as well. So we'll see what they decide to go with. Actually, Wicked is now pushing that one out, and I think it's just 2, maybe 3 auto attacks coming out from that Kennen to get that one finished off. Gambit still holding on to this one. I say holding on, they've obviously got the lead. It's 1,500 gold that they're actually holding on to right now, but these fights have been so very close.
Remember, they had a 5,000 gold lead, I believe it was, or 3,000 gold lead at 16 minutes in, so over these past 10 minutes, it's only shrunken. EG's been able to close the gap a little bit, and it seems like both teams being very hesitant. We do see EG gripped up his 5, though, and Darren's still split pushing right now. 187 CS, so we talked about him, even though he was able to split push, not being able to catch up to Wicked in CS, he's been able to do it, able to surpass him here. Again, with all these pinks down, they're looking to bait in Evil Genuises.
Oh, Wall of Pain going down there. They've got a pink ward in position as well, and EG not really falling too heavily for that one. Playing very carefully. We can almost forget what happened in the last 2 games because they were both very one-sided, and well, they don't matter technically at this point anymore because it all comes down to this one, which currently tied on turrets, tied on kills. The goal is as good as tied as well.
Darren, he does have home guard boots, so he's trying to get back to lanes as quick as possible. So maybe expecting him to do like a home guard teleport in and maybe go for a nice shadow dash across multiple targets, but he's going back to farming, able to pick up another giant spell. He's going to be very tanky. He's going to be very hard to deal with. He's sitting at 3,300 or 3,400 life, 147 armor, 126 magic resist, and there's not a whole lot of penetration built up for the AP carries of Evil Genuises.
And you see how slowly this game is building up there. Snoopy able to take his hands off his mouse and keyboard and just have a good drink there as he talks to the rest of his teammates through things. And he is moving a little bit slower, but what would we really expect from a game of this caliber? And traditionally, Gambit versus EG games have been a little bit slower, have been more drawn out as well. We have seen games that have lasted over an hour between these 2 teams in the past. And it really wouldn't shock me if we were to have that here again today.
We do see a lot of farm, though, funneled into those mid laners, which you would honestly expect with Froggen and Alex. 321 CS to 315. The AD carry is kind of trailing behind, but that's, I guess, due to Froggen. He's trying to push up the waves as much as possible. Alex is trying to do the same here, but it looks like we're going to have a death cap coming in for Alex, and this might be the time for Gambit to fight. They have a lot of good items. They could probably force something here relatively soon, and Froggen, he might get caught by Darren here. We do have Voidal coming down from middle. This could be very bad.
So, Froggen, what's he going to do? Puts a stun card down on towards Darian. Grasping Root's actually missing. Going to use his Zhonya's here, and that's going to avoid him all the damage there on the knockup from the Strangled Thorns. And now Darian finds himself in trouble. He's going to go low. Surely going to be finished off. Gets a slow. Wild card's missing, but that won't matter. They're going to get the kill there. Wicked noticing Gambit coming in from the top. Diamond going a little bit too deep. Gets his Bloodwell pop. Can they hold him down? A nice bullet time will actually force EG to back away from that. In the end, it's just a 1-for-0 for EG.
Oh, Wicked coming up very big for his team right there. He's zoned out the rest of Gambit, who are flanking in from behind them, making it so they could kill Darren without any worries. And that bullet time and then the threat of that Karthus ultimate coming in was enough to dissuade EG from continuing to fight. But Dragon has been started right now. Froggen's middle. And if Gambit's not careful, they can lose a lot more.
Oh, the hook from Crepo very close to grabbing Diamond. Froggen waiting off towards the side. He's going to take the Lantern into the team. Dragon still underway here. Gambit not going to give this one up. Yellow Pete got rooted down there, and EG decide against the Dragon. They start to back up. Alex is just going to flash in there. He's going to have Shen coming down as well. Wicked decides to use the Zhonya's. They dive straight on top of him, but the Lantern brings him back to safety. The playback. Well, here comes Requiem. There's a shutdown. Crepo going very, very low. Already, EG losing one man. There's the ace in the hole, and all of a sudden, Gambit are falling low as well. Crepo flashes in there, able to pick up the kills, but look at Alex. Triple kill for him on Karthus, and that will be 3-for-1 in the end. Froggen is now trying to run away desperately. But what a play out of Gambit once again, Jason. The flash in from Alex with the Stan United coming down, setting up the play.
Well, we're going to look at it again here. Just like you said, that flash over the wall with that Shen Stan United. Wicked kind of gets out of position a little bit. He does obviously get saved right there, but the Karthus ultimate coming in, they, I guess, didn't really count for that one. The thing was, Genji, he came into the fight a little bit late, and yet they were able to survive long enough to turn this one around, and Froggen, he ended up ulting out of there in the nick of time as Crepo's and flashing and killing Diamond, who kind of actually got played out of his jump right there. I didn't even notice that the first time, but a fantastic job by Gambit. 3 kills going over to Alex. That only made him more of a threat. And look at his items that he has, Joe. That is crazy.
9-8 in kills. Less than 3,000 gold. Still separating these two teams. We've already passed the half-an-hour mark, and we've seen that both of them willing to fight with this one. Gambit in particular there, with Alex making that split-second decision to really jump over the top. And we've seen so many teams utilizing this Shen to set up that 2-man kill team. Obviously, NIP is one of the other teams that really come to mind with that.
Also, the yellow submarine thing that we kept talking about, which EG did use in the Super Week. That whole Twitch stealth, you don't even see Shen coming in. Then again, flashing over a wall like that, you don't really see him coming in either. So, and now Darien, who ended up dying right there, looks like he's building towards a Warmog, so he wants to get even tankier for his team. And EG, they're kind of setting up towards Baron. Are they trying to bait in a fight here?
Well, they're going to clear out wards. Darien is once again waiting. So Froggen this time decides, you know what, I'm going to put down a ward just in case Darien is camping me once again. Fortune shining there for Froggen. He's going to actually pick that one up. Staying alive, all good.
I think EG's definitely trying to draw the rest of Gambit over towards this Baron right now, but Froggen has been able to get a nice power spike with that death cap, so can't do a lot of damage to Darren. As you've seen right there, he's just regenerating it all up, but he can still apply pressure to these lanes. He can still do insane damage to these turrets if he has the ability to go for it. EG kind of looking a little flustered on what their next move is going to be.
I feel like I'm almost playing the parrot role here as well, about talking about how important this game is and the reason why it's obviously a lot slower than we'd probably expect. I say that in a lightest of way with an EG Gambit game, after all. We're used to them lasting quite a long time, but this one in particular is everything. It's the entire year for both of these teams. You lose this one and, well, you can call your time wasted almost.
That's why we're seeing so much hesitation come out from both these teams. It seems like they've gone back to their roots, where You know, Froggen, you split push while the rest of us stays group. Same with Gambit, have Darien split push out, make sure he had an easy laning phase so he can survive and do the exact same, but right now it's just they're butting heads in this bottom lane. No one's really getting further in a situation. If the split push, this Froggen can wave clear a lot faster, but he's backing out. Looks like he's gonna buy here. And EG, could they be looking for an engage?
I think we're going to be waiting until everyone's got 6 items at this point. But rightly so. Can't begrudge these guys have been ultra careful about how they're going about this one. So let's have a look down the items here, and that'll get us through some of this time where both teams are weighing things up. Look at the top laners. Ken, Zhonya's Hourglass, Abyssal Scepter, those Sorcerer's Shoes plus his Doran's Blades from the very start of the game. On the other side, tanky as hell Shen with a Warmog's Spirit Visage and a Sunfire Cape in there. That is a very tanky Shen, as we are going to see them going in here. Diamond actually focusing down Crepone. He's caught out here. EG are going to give him up. They're going to sacrifice him for this one. But that leads them to a 5 versus 4. How are they going to react to this? Froggen is up in the top lane. That turret has been very low for a long time as Diamond fails his jump over the wall there, but they're going to kick off the Baron. The turret on that top side goes down. Either way, this is a 5v4.
We do have Froggen teleporting, going for Genji here as the Ace in the Hole comes out, but they're trying to delay as much as possible, and they're in a perfect position for Wicked to get an ultimate off here.
Oh, this could be super dangerous. That Baron going decently low as they are going to go in towards Wicked. He's going to pop his ultimate. There is the Zhonya's coming out. Now Diamond, the one caught out. He's going to have his passive up, and they manage to kill off Wicked. Can they get any more? Snoopy Cataclysm, but with Alex Hitch, that's surely going to be the death of him. The taunt comes over. Here comes the Requiem. It's a double kill coming down. Actually, not quite, because Darien stole the one onto Jarvan in the end. But that is enough here. Gambit have done enough to secure themselves a Baron. Look at Froggen on the top side. He is going to keep pushing here and try and get something out of this for EG.
He's actually stopping to push right there. He could have kept going, but obviously didn't know where anyone was on the other team. He's just going to back out, and fantastic job by Gambit to just turn around, go for the straight fight. Don't bother trying to finish off that Baron. You're going to watch it one more time as Wicked, he gets blown up, he gets caught. He needs to be into the back where Alex is to lock him down, as Alex just walked away completely. Froggen even committed towards Genji right there, and I think Snoopy might have been able to save him if he just hit Diamond one more time or two, but honestly that's hindsight. And they just fall off one by one, and they forget about the Alex Hitch ultimate. That thing is so deadly when he's sitting on these items. He's right now at 704 ability power.
That stings.
I think that does more than sting.
Requiem's painful right now. That's what we learned from those stats. And he puts Alex up to 5-1-7. Darien, who looks like a different man playing Shen this time around. Obviously in game number 1 he played Shen. Seemed a little bit out of position. He played did the typical Darien thing of him falling behind and then getting caught out even more to almost make matters worse. But this time around, farmed brilliantly, split push brilliantly, stopped the split pushes to a decent level as well. Obviously top lane did get knocked down in the end, but he's incredibly tanky, and I can't see how they're going to get through this one. We saw Wicked there. Pretty much it was Diamond that took him out of the fight, and Diamond will take that fight because he's, with that Bloodwell, got that built-in Guardian Angel almost that means that he can afford to die that one time.
And Wicked is unfortunately, I think that's the second time he's kind of been in a bad position for that fight. He's actually pushing that top lane all alone. No one on Gambit's really there to defend against it, and he's actually going to end up meeting the brick wall that is Darien, who has another Giant's Belt. For good measure, of course, why not?
There's another Dragon as well for Gambit. So let's take stock of the situation. 13-8 in kills, 4-3 in turrets to Evil Geniuses. But look at that gold now. 6,000 is the difference. We've seen it approaching that level a little bit earlier on. Then it was brought back somewhat with EG, who managed to farm themselves back into the game. But after that last bunch of kills, plus the Baron, plus the Dragon, it's looking good for Gambit here, but certainly not over. If there's any team that can stall out games, it's EG.
And pretty much the ball's in Gambit's court where they want to go. They have that 6,000 gold lead, like you said, but they also have pretty much 8,000 gold worth of statistics added on from that Baron. And you even see 2 GAs coming in for Gambit. They're confident enough in their damage. They just want to be able to survive what EG can put out. And right now, Wicked's not in position. Neither is Froggen, right? And they could take potentially this inhibitor turret.
So you've got to kill Diamond 3 times for him to actually die right now, which is just a massive pain in itself. Froggen is going to bring a turret back in this bottom lane, but Gambit reacting to it perfectly. They're just going straight through. They're going to have an inhibitor away from this, which means those super minions going to start streaming down. Froggen actually starts to back off as Gambit do leave that EG base. But are they going to let him come back from it? We did see Darian already getting in there, so he's going to stop those minions pushing any further. And this is an opportunity for Gambit to take out the entire jungle again.
That is really straining Evil Genuises. I mean, we're starting to get to the point where Gambit has almost one full item ahead of their opponent in their respective lanes. And EG's still sticking to their cards. They're still sticking to trying to split push as much as possible. Froggen, I think without that DFG, it doesn't really have the burst to kill, obviously not kill Darren, but to even one-shot anyone right now, as Alex does have that Saris Embrace. That actually might be his next big pickup, and maybe that's what they're stalling for. Make sure he can have that item so they can burst someone down, get him out of the fight right away, and then mitigate all the damage that would come in off the back of that, and then survive, hopefully, the ultimate coming out of Alex.
So waves just being cleared up once again. We can see that Gambit are starting to gather somewhat onto this top side. Alex wants to steal himself a blue buff away, and we'll have the pleasure of doing so. And they're going to go towards this top lane where finally the outer turret is actually going to go down. Froggen is still pushing though here.
And you see how little damage he does to Darien. I mean, just could not do too much. So if anything, he's a focus on that turret. And Darien, I think, can even duel him 1v1 here.
I think so as well. I mean, we've just seen that help with the turret. Have that taunt coming in under it. And to be honest, Gambit can probably just force their way through onto this.
Yeah.
I see Froggen's trying to get back, but Darian's not going to let him.
And they're going to get another inhibitor off of this, an inhibitor turret, and we do see Snoopy going in. Here's the fight.
Here we go, big fight going to come for this one. Good Stranglethorn's going to knock them in the air. Crepo actually falling to half HP and has to back away from the fight as Alex Hitch now dominating with that kill onto Wicked. Here comes the Requiem out once again. Crepo goes low. Yellow Pete down at half HP, but it's another double for Alex in the end. And that's a 2 for 0. Gambit pretty low on health, but they're going to get inhibitor number 2 nonetheless.
I don't think they're going to go for the finish here. I mean, oh, we see Froggen coming in!
Yeah, flashing in for that one. Diamond
gets a double!
Towards Yellow Pete from this one. Can he get the finisher? Yes, he can. They're ace in the hole going through. But can they kill off Diamond once again? He jumps away from it. Now Darian is there. Genja off to the side, but Darian, you know, he's strong. His damage not massive, but he's still taking big chunks out there. And EG have held on to that inhibitor. They've held on to it, crucially.
That is the really important part, and we're going to see a replay of that. Froggen ended up coming in from the back. We'll see that a little bit later, but you see the engage. EG wanted to go for the fight here, even though Darien did have his ultimate available. And you're going to see him come in. Froggen actually does... Oh, we actually stopped him here, so he didn't even get into the middle of that fight, and that was a great job by him to stop, I guess, the bleeding that EG was going through. You can see Yellow Pete trying to lifesteal off of these minions here, and Froggen with the home guard boots completely catches Gambit off guard, which it really does. And the thing is, his wild cards, it killed Alex, but it also killed Voidal because he ran into one on accident.
Happens to me a lot. Try and dodge it, just run into it even further. So let's have a look down some of the other important factors. We're going to see Alex Hitch, Froggen hit 500 CS here shortly. Up to 497, 314 in kills he currently is. Picking up that Fiendish Codex here at the end, so is he going DFG just to have that dueling potential? Probably needs it if he's going to continue split pushing against a Darian who's so tanky that right now he can't take him out, and there is a DFG finished. Yeah,
I mean, even though Alex has the Zonias, if Froggen like flashes in, hits him with a stun card, with the DFG, the wild cards, and the auto attack with the Lich Bane, they're going to die, he's going to die. And that means the Zonias won't really mean anything, so I wouldn't be surprised to maybe see a GA come out of him a little bit later on. EG have the potential. I mean, like I said, they held on to that top inhibitor. They're pushing out middle. They have great wave clear. Baron will be up in about 10 seconds here.
Could see a bit of a dance for Baron. Who am I kidding? We're gonna see a dance for Baron. It's coming up in just a second. Is Darian gonna go in there first? Takes it.
Oh, Wicked got caught last time.
Wicked caught out. Is he gonna have time? No, he doesn't manage to pop the Zonias. That is bad news for EG. Wicked going down without even being able to do it. That taunt, he was just locked up basically with all that CC coming through. That is him down now for almost a minute. Are Gambit going to risk it though here for a Baron?
This is exactly what kicked off the Baron for Gambit last time. Wicked getting caught out of position, down for another 45 seconds. Gambit, I think they very well could. I mean, the bottom lane is still pushing. They have a huge wave there. Froggen's starting to deal with these super minions middle. And Gambit, with that blue buff and Alex, looks like they're going to go for Baron.
They're going for Baron. What are EG going to do? They're actually pushing up middle here. They're going to try and force Gambit to back away or lose turrets as the price for taking down the Baron. And in the end, they will pick up Baron. But will Froggen keep going from this one? He needs to be a little bit careful. Does have that Destiny available if he wants to try and get away. So the EG all headed down towards the Dragon. Froggen here using those stun cards as he pops a Destiny. Is he going to leave? He is going to try and leave, but he gets taunted up. He's going to be a dead man here. Gets a slowdown. Pops his onions as well, but it's just a matter of time as he comes up. Diamond slams down the sword, and that is another kill. Plus the Dragon coming out now for Gambit.
I was trying to check if that was actually a blind taunt coming out of Danner there, because it almost looked like it, but what a fantastic play out of him. And now, 2 inhibitors naked for Gambit to take. This is a very crazy point in the game where EG, they're going to have to fight to save something here. It's just a matter of, will Froggen be up in time before Gambit gets there and forces these objectives?
Well, Diamond is going to be pushing that mid lane out. The rest of the team pretty much here in this bottom side of things. And look how fast that turret goes down. Alex actually going to get hooked into this one. We're going to see Shen get involved. Strangled Thorns go down as well. Alex falling low. He will use his onions. There's the bullet time, which doesn't do what they would have wanted there in the end. But Darian forcing in there towards the back. Snoopy goes low. There is a Requiem to finish off one. And Gambit with that going to take the inhib. They're going to try and finish.
I think they can too. They have so much time on Yellow P being down. They get the first one in Joe, they're going to do it.
They are going to do it. It's Gambit Gaming here. One last fight. It's only Wicked that stands between them here and the World Playoffs. Can they do that one? Wicked gonna fall, and Gambit focus the Nexus. A 2-1 thrilling best of 3. Gambit Gaming, the 3rd team to represent Europe over in Los Angeles. Brilliant game.
For them to come back being down 1 game in this series with how hard they got stomped in the first one, stomping the second game, coming out huge in this game. Amazing job, and you just see EG, they are just so disappointed with the results from that. Looking to come out into the World Finals, they were there last year, they had 3rd place, but they couldn't get to it this time.
Yeah, and we can see what it means to Gambit as well. Very emotional after that one.
Alex is like, I can go home. My wife will let me in the door.
He's gonna let him in from this one. And amazing stuff. Again, a best of 3 going right down to the wire. A chance to represent his organization, his friends, his family, his fans, their country as well here. A brilliant scene to behold as Gambit, 3rd team going through right down to the wire. And EG putting up a very, very big fight in that one, but in the end it's not enough, and they're the team that have to watch from the sidelines this year.
But they can still hold their heads high for at least one thing. They know they're in Season 4. There was always the opportunity for them to drop out of it. They will have that to look forward to next year. They'll have a lot of time to practice to get to that point. But now, Joe, we finally have our 3 European representatives going to Worlds.
We do, and I think it's going to be scary for the rest of the world going up against these guys. Obviously, we've not quite got a Summer Split champion just yet. That's going to be coming up in just a little while. But Gambit taking that 3rd spot, taking that 3rd position, going to World, which is a massive disappointment for Evil Genuises, there's no doubt about that. But I think we need Gambit there, don't we? We probably need EG there. It'd be nice if we had, 8 spots, but that's obviously not the reality from this one. And it's harsh, it's brutal, but that's the LCS for you. You've got to give your best, not only in week 1 of the Summer Split, but right up until this final game of a best of 3 in the playoffs.
Gambit, they really showed it right there. I mean, that boot camp they did, it got them into these playoffs. It got them into the World Finals. I think everyone in Europe can agree right now. Gambit, start boot camping until World Finals begin, because if they have more than the 2 weeks they had, how unstoppable could they really be?
I'm pretty sure Gambit are headed straight back towards that boot camp now that they've qualified for the World Championships, because it was a different Gambit team that came out. They were looking very, very ropey. The addition of Voidal after Darker was brought into the team and then left. It's been a rocky split for Gambit, a very rocky season. But in the end, this is what really matters here. This best of 3 victory going to send them over to the World Championships, and couldn't be happy for them right now.
Yeah, I'm feeling good for Worlds. We have 3 great teams coming from Europe. Lemon Dogs, we have Fnatic, we have Gambit. And if these teams prepare well, they're going to do extraordinarily well at the finals. And not to mention, we do have Reckless, I believe, coming in for Fnatic. I'm not sure how many games they'll be playing, so don't quote me on any of that, but Europe, it's looking bright, the future.
Well, we're going to see if Fnatic can obviously claim a 2nd split in a row as they take on the Lemon Dogs a little bit later on. But for now, we're heading over to Kobe and Quickshot to break down all the best moments from Gambit's brilliant Game 3 victory.
Thank you very much, Joe, and congratulations to Gambit. A very hard-fought win in that third and final game.
Yeah.
They kept a lead for most of it. They were just a little bit ahead of Evil Genuises at basically all stages of the game. Starting right from the very, very beginning, we've seen a 2 versus 3 as EG were trying to deal with the duo lane of Gambit, and it actually almost backfired and didn't really work out the way EG was hoping.
Yeah, so there were a couple things that EG got off on the wrong foot with. One of them was the 2 versus 1 lane swaps here, and EG did see Darien up top before minions had spawned. The 2 versus 3 thing that happened bottom because Snoopy went to help Wicked lane really didn't turn out in their favor because Genja was doing his normal thing of freezing the lane, and Wicked got behind in experience early, and so did Snoopy. He was very low farm for the first half of this game and wasn't able to have a very big impact with that Jarvan roaming around. He got mobility boots to try and make up for it and get into position for more ganks, but he couldn't make the plays here. And the early plays were made by the globals of Gambit. That was really why Crepo before the games was talking about strategy is going to revolve around the globals.
Before we actually even talk about the globals, there was also some decision-making from EG that also really backfired. They tried that 3v1 dive on the top lane on Shen.
Yeah.
It didn't work out for them. They were caught out a number of times during the mid-game and just not really seeming to be entirely on the same page.
So that's part of the globals thing is Froggen was first picking the TF, but he failed that dive top. That was a walking dive. He just went up there. They tried to dive Shen, couldn't pull it off in time, and the Requiem again from Alex on his Karthus, the globals, they were able to finish off Crepo there. And then when he did use his Destiny on TF, soon after that, to go down bottom, also not successful once again. So.
Well, that is actually going to be the first replay of the game. So let's pull that replay up onto your screen. And it was a massive, massive fight down in this bottom lane on the tower. And basically everybody came to join in on this one. Talk me through what happened, Kobe.
Okay, so this is going to be both the Requiem back up now and Darien going to be using his Stand United. Gambit have a very strong dive comp specifically for the bottom lane because both their top and mid lanes can add to this fight, whereas their jungle comes in with the revive passive in Aatrox. He's going to start it off. So let's roll this clip, and we'll see Diamond not hesitate to jump right in here on EG. There's a good hook onto Genja, and watch how they focus, but the flash from Genja, immediately as soon as Snoopy jumps into the air, Genja flashes out of that Cataclysm and starts to channel the bullet time, adding that huge zone of damage over the entire turret. Too many factors here from Gambit coming in the bottom lane.
The game was still very, very close for the next very long period of time, and there was a couple of pretty big game-changing moments. One of them was a team fight in and around the Baron pit, and initially it kind of looked pretty good for EG. They got a pick, they peeled away, but then Alex just man modes up and he flashes over the wall. It's going to take us to our second replay.
Oh, so that's Dragon Pit.
Dragon Pit. Yeah, so did I say Baron? My bad. Let's pull up the replay on your screen as we're talking about, and this is just Alex just really turning the tides of this battle.
Now, this game, the mid game, was all about picks for really both sides here. There were a lot on each team, and that was actually why this game was so close in the middle. Several different members getting caught off of a position. This one started out, though, from an earlier pick. Froggen was down bottom, if you remember. Darien tried to collapse on him. They thought they had Froggen in a bad spot, but he Zanya's and bought himself enough time that the EG team turned it around and killed Darien. That's why Darien's dead right now. But he's Shen, and he has Stand United. EG wait around this dragon way too long. The full death timer of Darien comes back up, and then Gambit go in. All right, let's roll this clip, and we'll see Alex. This is the Alex man mode flash you're talking about. They prep this aggression with the Shen Stand United. He's able to get right where Karthus wants to be, in the middle of the team, to split them to two sides of this block of bottom lane, and that means EG cannot escape, because Froggen and Yellow Pete are cut off from the rest. That spurs the whole team to go in, try and make the best of a bad situation here, and though Crepo is able to get in with that last flash play to pick up one kill, that's not nearly enough for EG. That also meant a dragon for Gambit.
So Gambit Gaming secured that third and final spot from Europe at the World Championships, the World Playoffs next month. And it was hard fought. We've seen game one go one way, game two go the other, but at the end of the day, Gambit, they made it count when they needed to.
The reactions after this game, this is why we were talking about this matchup so much yesterday. You can tell how much emotion is going through both of the teams here.
Yeah.
Crying on both sides, winners and losers.
The one thing I do have to call out is the fact that both teams shaking hands, hugging it out towards the end there. And you know Evil Genuises, they're going to go back to the drawing board. They'll bounce back from this one. Fortunately, they're not going to be at the playoffs. Guys, we do need to take another short break, but when we return, Shocks will be joined on stage by the World Championship bound